You know, we often bring CEOs in to chat with us and give us insight into the market and into tech. And I've got a really cool one here today. So if you really enjoy risk management, if that's the kind of thing that you do, stick around. I think you'll enjoy the discussion today. I'm Ed Amoroso from Tag Cyber. I've got here today a good friend of mine, AJ Sarkar, who's the founder and CEO of Optimize. I'm going to ask AJ to share some insights into the work his team does. I think you'll enjoy it. We're going to talk about risk, and we're going to talk about cyber and a few other things. So stick around. AJ, welcome. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Hey,
Nice
just
to be here.
Start, tell me about the company. What do you guys do? And then I want to pick your brain about the business and strategy and so on. But
Sure,
what
Ed.
do you guys do?
Very simply, we are a risk modeling company, and what it means in the context of risk management is we are taking the traditional approach of risk management to the next level to fit into this world, which is changing at very fast rate. And what it means is that risk footprints are changing very, very fast. So the traditional governance-based approach, which not very suitable in this context. So we are taking to the next level by using AI ML and having almost near real-time visualization and decision-making capability to the enterprise.
You must have a lot of interaction with C-suite and executives.
Oh, absolutely.
And so on.
In last 4.5 years, I myself talked to probably over 800 to 1,000 Fortune 1000 CXOs, and not only they come from all industry like verticals, like from banking to healthcare to insurance and retail and manufacturing, but they also comes with different background. I talked to hundreds of CISOs, CIOs, CFOs, CLOs, CPOs, and so on.
I remember when you first told me about the company, we were starting with cyber.
Correct.
But you guys do more than just cybersecurity.
That is right, Ed. At our heart, our DNA is risk modeling, but we can model actually any kind of risk, but our focus is cyber risk, data privacy, compliance, and ESG risk. But our risk modeling capability can go beyond that, like supply chain risk, geopolitical risk, and so on.
So I have to ask a couple of business questions.
Sure.
What made you start the company? What was the idea? What was the fire in the belly to get things going?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, Ed. In my previous company, which was a consulting company, we came across the problem statement in different terminology, different language, different context, different scenarios, but it boiled down to the fact that the traditional approach of governance-based approach doesn't make the cut anymore in today's world to handle the challenges we are facing in cyber risk, for example, right, and also in compliance and supply chain risk. And hence, I thought about having a SaaS platform with risk modeling capability, which is capable to continuous access enterprise risk and quantify risk, and also help companies prioritize on ongoing basis. Because as you know, you have tremendous cyber background. What was my risk yesterday, top 3 cyber risk might have changed today, for example, right? So to have this information and decision making capabilities at their fingertips, that's what we are bringing on the table. And that was a thought process that made me start Optimize.
How long ago did you start the company?
Around 4.5 to 5 years back.
Yes, been at it for 5 years. How has the market shifted over those 5 years?
Oh, definitely it shifted. When 5 years back I was talking to Fortune 100, 500 companies, they liked that idea, but they didn't opt to go for risk quantification. What has changed is the risk footprint and the world in general, I would say, their priorities and so on, and their understanding, Fortune 500 companies, C-suite, that managing their risk is on the top of their list, and hence they need a platform which helps them managing their risk, and not only managing, but also to predict risk, and that's where AI ML comes also.
You know, I'm going to say something controversial, and you react to it. I get upset when boards and C-suites don't take this seriously enough. I think they take finance pretty seriously.
That's right.
Management, but when it comes to risk, particularly cyber, I don't know. I think sometimes we give them a pass and let them get away with maybe
You're
not
right.
doing. Does that get you a little upset at times too?
No, because it goes back to the
That's your business. It's great when you're the CEO, right? Then you get to go,
but
go
it goes
after
back
that.
to the underlying causes. Goes back to the problem statement. The reason they give a pass because they not fully have the information or understanding how it impacts
It's
their
new.
upline and
It's
bottom
newer.
line.
Yeah.
And actually, that's exactly what we offer. We create those linkages. How different form of risk like cyber or data privacy or compliance or supply chain could impact their upline, bottom line, their revenue, their reputation, and so on.
You know, we've done some interviews with your team, your chief risk officer. I want to ask you about the company. So where are you headquartered, and tell us about how you're set up and a little bit about the mechanics of the company.
Sure, we are headquartered in sunny San Diego. That's where I am from. But
that's not a bad place to be.
No, not at all. Love San Diego.
Right.
But we have a very distributed global team.
Yeah.
In general, our chief risk officer, Andrew, is based out in New York. We have in Minneapolis, in Toronto, Canada, in Florida, in India,
Wow.
and in Europe. So we have a very distributed team. I mean, as you know, Ed, that 2 years of COVID has changed the way we work.
Yeah.
And so we have and I think this model is really working great for us, having a global talented team, distributed team across different time zone and so on.
Do you find that over the last 5 years, do you feel like, this is a question I always ask CEOs who are involved in cyber, do you feel like we're making progress, if that makes sense? Like, is the offense, maybe coming a little more into view, or is it getting worse? Like, a lot of times I'll ask that. People go, there's a bigger gap, say, between the offense and defense. Where are you on that spectrum of cyber risk?
That's a very good question. I see that as a progress of where we are today.
Getting better.
Getting better. Okay. And one critical element of that awareness. Cyber awareness has gone really good, deep into the society, and that's the next frontier of war, as we know. So definitely from awareness point of view is way better than what it used to be. But also companies and enterprises, they started to understand what cyber risk means to them in the context of their reputation, their supply chain, their upline, bottom line. And also it's going to stay there for near future, at least 5-10 years. So that brings another topic, which is we as a country in US, we don't have enough cyber skill, and that's one of the things we are doing in Optimize. We have a non-profit initiative where we are working with universities and high school to create an internship program.
Well, that's a good thing. Now, we're now talking in first quarter 23.
Yeah.
There's a lot of buzz about the SEC and the White House and other groups, even internationally, demanding that CISOs and boards take a little bit more responsibility, even personal responsibility, signing off on things. Well, I would imagine that's right smack in the middle of the kind of work that you guys are doing. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's reasonable to be demanding a little bit more accountability for these executives, or perhaps it isn't reasonable? What do you guys normally think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think without going into the debate of whether it's reasonable or not, it is fact that cyber is an integral part of any company, and it has a direct impact into their upline and bottom line, and hence SEC is asking for some kind of accountability and transparency, basically.
They are.
Yeah. So and we are very well suited to help that. In fact, as you may know, Ed, that we have persona-based dashboard, like operational dashboard for CISOs, management dashboard for CIO and CDO,
right,
and executive dashboard for internal audit and CFOs. And part of that, we are building a SEC template out of which they can generate report for SECs. So the CFOs, internal audit, they can play that role. And that will create a complete transparent framework across the enterprise and bring all the stakeholder under one umbrella, and will generate reporting for SEC also.
That makes sense. You know what I think the answer to the reasonable question is?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I thought. I think it used to not be reasonable, but I think it is now.
More and more.
You
More
guys
and
are
more.
a reason
More-
why. Like the
more and more.
platforms now are better.
Yeah.
I think a few years ago,
Yeah.
I'm not sure it would have been reasonable because the data was scattered all over
You're
the place.
100% right.
Right, when I was
You're
doing, I was a
100% right.
CISO for 20 years when I was doing it. If they had told me to be accountable, I'm not sure I would have liked that.
I agree
but
with
I
that.
think today, it feels maybe finally I think it's reasonable.
And do you
now
know why?
to ask.
Your point is very well taken. The reason is the maturity of their risk program.
Yeah.
And also, like you mentioned, data and the technology like AI, ML, and also their pain point, risk pain point. It all came to a point of fusion where it makes more sense now.
It does. Hey, how do you like being the CEO of the company? Enjoying it?
Well, good and bad, right?
It's a lot of work.
Good, yeah. One side of the coin, yes, it's fun and I'm passionate about it. But other side of the coin, you have to do everything, and everything
Right.
comes to your desk. And by default, I am the owner of everything, right? And so, well, I'm
The
sure.
buck stops with you.
Yep, yeah. Sometimes I feel it tough, sometimes I like it, and over in general, I would say I love it because I'm very passionate in what I do. And at the end of the day, look, I am all about learning and growth, and this position provides me with a lot of opportunity to learn.
Is your website the best place for people to be in touch with you guys if they want to learn more?
The website certainly has a lot of information, but they can also register to, if they want to try our platform for free. It's in our website. They can always reach out to me. My email is aj@optimize.ai. I am available 24/7, anytime.
That's great. And free is a good price, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
They get to
not
try for 30 days, 60 days for free.
I hope that a bunch of people watching the video take you up on that. That'll be good. You'll have to let us
I
know.
hope so, yeah.
Next time you're in New York, you come back and see us again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
sir.
having
Thanks
me.
for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you, sir.
And for everyone else watching, we'll see you next time.